There are a few things that I guess are in the pipeline, and obviously some of these are related to the university, some are related to other parts. I mean, I mentioned Immigration New Zealand increasing the work opportunities and work allowances for students. I think that is quite an important change in legislation. I mentioned that international education is an expensive undertaking, so any way that a student can work to offset or mitigate those costs, that's fantastic. And the government is consistently reviewing the different processes and policies that are in place for international students. I think it's important that students are aware that here in New Zealand we have there is a code of practice for the pastoral care of international students, which all universities are signatories to. And that it outlines a basic minimum standard of care that is required by all signatories to that. I think it's important because it means that students can then know that there are certain levels that will be achieved in service and in programs and offerings and support, so they can, I think, feel safe in the knowledge that exists. Moving off that into looking at some of the academic sides of things, here in New Zealand and at this university in particular, there's been a shift in the way that master's degrees are offered. Now, ordinarily in New Zealand, a master's degree was 240 points of full-time study. That's the equivalent of 2 full-time years. So that's, depending on the system you use, it's equivalent to 120 ECTS. That's now changed. There are 180-point master's programs, or the equivalent of 90 ECTS, and it's aimed at having students complete a full master's program in a calendar year. So that would be two of our A and B semesters, our main semesters, and then our 2 summer semesters. So that's quite a big shift. I think there are advantages for students in that they're saving on tuition fees because that qualification is pro rata, obviously 150% of a regular year of a master's program. But also if a student completes that program inside the allotted 12 months, they receive a 15% rebate on those tuition fees. So there is an incentive to complete on time. Completing inside 12 months also lowers the living costs that the students have whilst in New Zealand, and it also allows them to get a quicker return upon that investment. What I mean by that is they can enter the workforce with a full master's program, an internationally recognised master's program, in 12 months rather than 18 or 24 months. So that is certainly a big shift. There are some other things going on within the country. New Zealand is about to receive its first cohort of students from Brazil under the Sciences Without Borders program. So students from Brazil that are involved in the sciences may wish to look at that opportunity to come down here to New Zealand, with that being paid by the Brazilian government. And of course the scholarships landscape is always changing, but I think New Zealand is certainly working hard to make sure that we are a competitive nation for international students, but also a very welcoming nation as well.